Okay, good afternoon. So my name is Mikko Pekka Hanski and greetings from Finland. All my company is actually, I don't know if they are, but they are streaming the view, so at least you have 45 people watching the show abroad. So here's a picture from my yard, from my garden, so you can see that there's a little bit difference to the view that it looks like here. And my topic today is, I'm going to speak about emotions. And I have to say that emotions in a way for Finnish people is a really risky thing, because speaking about emotions is like this. We Finns love silence. Anyway, the basic fundamental view of person that I see is that we have a three-dimensional holistic person. We have the intentional mind, I thinking over there, you thinking over there. We have the body, you sitting there, I'm standing here, and we have the social context. And all these two together defines us in a way as a person. But what is the thing that ignites us? What makes wakes us in the morning? What makes us like think or move or be in this situation? I call it emotions or intuition. I once asked from the Nokia executive group member that what actually happens before they start a formal strategy creation process. And the answer was very clear. He said, I just feel we need to do something. He said, I just feel we need to do something. So basically, it was larger transit manufacturers led by Hans, and I'm pretty fine with that. So my topic today is to speak about creative process, what kind of emotions people go through in the creative process, and how you can manage those things, or how you can try to manage those things from the leadership perspective. Okay, now I'm going to show you a few art pieces over here, and think about when you're looking at these, that what have these artists felt when they were creating these. Some Catalonian stuff. It is evident that while creating art, we need to feel something to create something like this. By the way, this person over here, he is the guy who comes in every autumn and breezes the ice into the field. So he's the biggest enemy of a farmer in Finland. So he brings the winter, basically. So my statement today is that the feelings and the emotions of a talented person will appear and show in the results and outcomes. Thus, managers and leaders need to somehow empower or make people to utilize and handle these emotions along the creative process. And the idea I have that what are the leadership practices I will explain in the last part of my presentation is the lead by example, pattern recognition, nudging or choice of architects, and then fourthly, emotional project modeling. So before going further, I will explain a couple of key concepts. Imagination to me is the ability to really think something that no one else has ever done. As Sir Ken Robinson stated, children from 3 to 7 years, they are like best that they can change the rules of a game instantly and imagine new ways to play. And no one can force us to imagine. It's something that we are born with. So that's the first definition that I have, is the imagination. The second one is the creativity. Creativity to me is a skill, a capacity to use your own skills in a new ways, in a new situation. So to create something is to use your hands, use your skills to create something concrete out of what you have been thinking. So talent, to me, is a combination of imaginative mind and a creative skill. That's my definition of talent. Now, if you think about, we've done in 10 years hundreds of design processes, and some time ago we noticed a major difference on how people acted, behaved, talked, way they worked along the process. And it was evident for us that actually it's not the basic project model that defines how we are working, it's the emotions that people feel along the way. So we interviewed our people and asked what they feel along the process. And here's a collection of the emotions that the Finnish designer feel while doing the process. The first and the most, I think, the fantastic emotion is the excitement, is the curiosity when you hear that, okay, this kind of project is going on, so your mind starts to seek relevant information, it starts opening the doors that, hey, this is great, you feel curious, and I think that's a great thing, it's a sort of a explorative mind on that sense. From that comes feeling of inspiration or revelation. Actually, design process in the very beginning, you either unconsciously or consciously create a hypothesis of the outcome, some kind of visual representation to your mind that this is it. It's like you want to build a house to a hill, you have to imagine the house somewhat to go forward. And this inspirational feeling is the biggest energy burst the designer can get while doing the project. And by that actually it leads to a third emotion that comes to play is the joy. In the joy phase, the project goes smoothly, everything is fine, your teammates they are lovely people, sun is shining. One Cisco Vitaly, or what was the Polish guy said, that people are in the flow in a way. So it's a feeling of joy that hits in the very beginning, in the 1/3 of the creative process. But, of course, reality hits hard. After joy creeps in the fear. The fear at this point is not it's really related to creative process. If you think about sculpture or statue, sculpture needs to take away stone to create a statue. So in a creative process you need to take away things, and the fear comes from that, what if I select wrongly? What if I select something that shouldn't be taken away? And that fear is a very powerful emotion, and actually that leads to a second emotion, that is anxiety. Anxiety in the project is something that you start to feel that no one is actually helping you. Your teammates start to look like traitors, and everything that you are doing is not going well. That's a very natural process when you are working with design. You face the wall. Okay, at this point in our company, we summon our dearest friend, Mr. Gandalf the White, who once said in the process that when all is lost, you feel in your heart that there is a hope. So this is our savior at this point. But it's not over yet. Along comes frustration feeling, and this frustration is something that happens when a design team starts creating something concrete, but then they have to explain that one to their client, in our case, or to the user. Actually, when you create something like a tacit knowledge about the thing, and then to explain that one, it's a hard thing. So for a designer, the idea, of course, is to overcome the proudness that I know best is the thing that we are doing for the client or for the user, and this frustration needs to somehow be managed. Well, in the very end of the design process comes the feeling of relaxation or relief, or one might say feeling of emptiness or voidness. It comes from the fact that you are giving out your baby. You have been pandering the design to a certain extent, and then you need to deliver it, and it's something that you just give away. And at the same time, your mind starts seeking for new challenges. Then little by little, the design project you had fades away into your memories or to a file saver or comes to someone. So it's this kind of feeling. So with these feelings, it's very, how do I say, clear to us that if our designers go through this kind of emotion, it's a roller coaster. So how do you actually manage this kind of feelings along the way? You know, the sparks fly in the anxiety phase, and in the very beginning, everyone's so happy that they can break free from the mental prison, and then again they are in there and so forth. So how do you actually manage those? So here are a few practices that I would like to show. The first one is lead by example. In our company, we are measured by our last project. So that means that all the team managers and people that are working cannot lead from the background or back office. We all have to be where the action is. And the respect from the people that are working needs to be earned every time, once in a while. So the only option to work and handle these emotions is to really sit and work together with those people that are doing the work. Second leadership practice is the constant change ideology, or being in a constant beta mode. We started the company 10 years ago. We were four people, and now we are 45. And for us, it has been, no day has been a similar day. Every day has been a constant change. So if you have the constant change going on and people feeling what they are feeling, how do you actually manage that kind of a situation? So we need to keep our instincts open and actually trust our instincts. That's the first idea of this. And then pattern recognition is that we constantly need to think about who works well with whom, what kind of team is going, and who has bad day or who has good day, and so forth. We need to be in that kind of a mode. So we have to have a culture of evolution. That's the only way we can adapt to a quite severe market situation we are facing nowadays, at least. Then third one is a nudging approach or choice of architectures. I work with quite intelligent people, more intelligent than I am, and I really cannot tell no one what to do and how to do. I cannot force no one to do. If I would force a designer to do something, really the outcome would suck. So the idea for us is I have to give the full autonomy to people to go on. But in full autonomy, it leads up to anarchy. So how do I manage this kind of full autonomy? And the idea is to not to force one, but nudge, like hey, maybe that way would be great to go. And the idea is to create an architecture of choices, like select from these alternatives that are according to the company values or strategy and so forth. And I have to say that this is not really my thought. There is a really good book about this. It's nudging, and wrote about by Richard Taylor and Cass Sunstein, and they're promising improving decisions about health, wealth, and happiness. Who wouldn't want that kind of thing? So take this to your notes. Nudging is great book. Well, we've come from defining the imagination as a concept, creativity as a concept, and talent as a concept. Then I explained some of the ideas that how we go from the inspirational joy to the frustrated anxiety, and then feeling of relief. And then I outlined 3 leadership practices that we've noticed that works well with our company. Then when I was invited to this event, we started to think about that. Do we walk the talk? Do we, if considering everything I've spoken here, what we understand, do we do things that we know, basically? And this is our current design process, how we work things. We research people in the very beginning, we draw the user requirements, then we conceptualize things, do the designs, the interaction design, UI design, graphical design, and then go to the implementations. And along the way, we validate the design with the end users. We have kickoff meetings, we have review meetings, we have finalization meetings and iterations, and all the basics of project modeling. But I have to say, and to be very honest, that no one really does those things in the company. And that's a secret, YouTube. And So we started to think that what if we are saying these things, but we are not acting like this? What would replace it? We had a big question, and my friend, colleague Risto and me started thinking that what would be our emotional project model? How we would define our design process? It would have been only created by emotions. So, ta-da! Here it is, coming up. So we have three phases. We have the phase of joy, the emotional cluster. We have an emotional cluster of misery, and then impact in the third phase. And go a little bit. In the very beginning, we need to ask ourselves: are we inspired? Are we happy? Do we love our work? And are we curious? If we say yes to all these questions, we can go ahead. We can have our kick-off meetings. We can start doing whatever we are doing. But if we say that, okay, no, it isn't, we need to start thinking about how come this is relevant to the world. How this project would improve people's life or make our business better or clients' business better or end users' life better. We need to question ourselves that, is this really relevant? And by questioning that kind of thing, we can find the curiosity and the happy thinking and inspire it from all kinds of projects. Second one is the feeling of misery. And well, work is work, and work as a concept doesn't need to be fun. You have to gain something, you have to accomplish something, you have to invest your time, your energy to accomplish something. So we need to be asking in some part of our presentation, in the work, that are we frustrated? Are we anxious? Do we hate our work? If we cannot say that we hate our work, it's actually feeling that maybe we don't care too much about it. So if we say yes to these all questions, we can go ahead. But if we say no, we then have to think about: have we done enough? Have I invested a little bit? So much time that I push the boundaries? Have I challenged myself in the situation? Have I caused myself a little bit of stress that actually takes my work a little bit further? And by that questioning, we go to the final ways we actually think about the impact. And I think these days in the world, we have plenty of products, we have plenty of services, we have plenty of everything. So basically, to survive in life, we wouldn't need anything that we are doing. So, and our company is in creating new handsets or new mobile portals or websites, and we need to be thinking that what is the impact we are creating? Are we doing something good for things? And then we have to think about: do we know what happened in the project all in all? Do we know the results? Do we know the difference? And are we okay with the results? And by that, we need to be thinking about: was the project worth it doing? And to me, speaking all about these emotions and emotional project modeling, it is evident for my company and us that we cannot go to the traditional project modeling anymore. We need to go to kickoffs, we need to go to reviews, and we do the finalization stuff, but it's something that everyone is doing that. We need to be evolving to a phase where we start really thinking about how the emotions of the talent people really affect to the outcomes and how we can manage those with our ever skills that we have. I'm very happy to be in this event, and although I didn't understand practically anything from the Big Vista fellow and the NASA or the Sun guy about what they were speaking, I sort of sensed that there was something cool happening on those, and I'm honored to be part of it. And Kyle and Tony has been able to draw a fantastic event together, and I look forward to hearing your comments afterward in the networking of this event. So with these words, I would like to thank you all and have a pleasant evening afterwards. Thank you.